Hey, Reliability Gang, I'm Jonathan Guiney.
And I'm Brendon Russ, and welcome to Reliability Radio, a JLL production and ReliabilityWeb.com media brand.
So, Brendon, TRC 2025, great week. Everybody's talking about AI, and that's not what I want to talk about today.
Yeah, I think when we listen to session after use of AI and its content, we want to remember about the people using it.
People are our most important assets all day, every day.
And how are we going to keep those human assets engaged in tip-top shape?
Well, forget about engaged. Now they're running scared.
Everybody thinks AI is coming for them.
Silver bullet's going to fix everything, including their job.
Typically, those of us know when people think they're going to solve every problem with technology, all it does is squeeze the people that are trying to get it to work the most.
Talk about unmotivating.
Yeah, and today we have one of the speakers here at TRC, Mr. Bryce Steffens. How we doing, Bryce?
Doing good. I just had a great presentation. I got a lot of feedback that people were really passionate about this subject.
So tell me about your presentation. What did you do today?
Well, I talked about my work history and how awful it's been some of the time and the great things that I've done based on just a few key things. But to your point of losing jobs, like people being afraid of losing their jobs, my position has been eliminated so many times. It's just something you have to adapt to. And so that really helped me to change my perspective of what I'm doing and to start thinking that my job is going to go away and I need to be prepared for that. And I got this new mentality of what if I could eliminate my own job by making it so easy to do this job that anybody could do it. I could give it to somebody else. And that got me onto this track of, well, we should all be doing that. If we eliminate our jobs before the AI takes them over, then we can move on to more advanced things and do better things with our skills. So my presentation talked about the keys to getting our team to focus on itself and to build the well-being of our team. And that first key is writing things down. Terrence said in the presentation that nobody writes things down, and it's true. Nobody writes things down. If I ask you to write something down, you won't. You'll say okay, but then you'll never get around to it. The next key is to take time. So take time to write it down, but take time to do the things that we need to do. Writing it down is so important because it gets it out of your head, and you know so much in your job, and if you don't get that out of your head, then there's not the opportunity for other people to grow. So I really wanted to focus in my presentation on the elements in the people and culture at work, a new domain that Reliability Web came up with. And they said, if you focus on the people, then you're going to have more reliable equipment. And the two main focus areas were opportunity and growth and mattering at work. So what I wanted to do was show people how they can give other people the opportunities by writing things down and taking time to help people feel like they matter at work.
You know, it's something that people have lost sight of, right? It's, you know, when you think about the CMMS, you think about the data historian, which it is, right? And you think about all that tacit knowledge that's in people's heads that's out there in a notebook, in a locker, you know, on the backside of an air handler, whatever it is. Like, we got to figure out how to capture that, right? Like you said, how do you give the next guy something better than what you had if you went out there blind? It's, I think that's a great point, right? I think a lot of people just don't, you know, everybody's so focused on a cell phone and everything else that they just forget to really put that data in the system.
So there's a part in your presentation today that I thought everybody recognized. And can you explain real quick the concept that you came up with of the glug?
Yeah.
What's a glug?
The glug is, it happens when you're filling up the soap and you've got a big jug and you're pouring it into a small opening, and then it's all going smoothly, and then
until it goes glug,
and then you got this big fat glug of soap that lands down on the top of the hole and blocks out the hole and completely fills it up. And the same thing happens at work. Everything is going smoothly, and then people say, we need this done yesterday, Or, oh, we're short on people and they screwed stuff up and now we need you to fix it. Or we put a whole bunch of meetings on your schedule and now you're feeling overwhelmed. And that overwhelm is normal and it creates all these emotions. And I talk about in the presentation your emotional processing unit. We're people, but we have something inside of us that makes us different than the machines, and that's for us to process emotions. And in this case, when you're feeling overwhelmed, you get all these negative emotions, and it makes it harder for you to work. And if you keep getting this over and over, then you're going to have something break inside you. Your team breaks down. And it's just not going to have good results. It's going to be messy, just like the soap creates a mess all over when it can't go in the bottle.
And I think that right there, that just basic conceptual analogy of what happens to all of us when something suddenly goes wrong or a lot comes in all at once and how we feel overwhelmed and how that affects our ability to do our jobs. I think everybody in the audience has some, even if it's as simple as filling a soap dispenser, we all know what that is. Now, in your presentation, when you explained the Glug, quite hilariously, by the way, you also tie back into the concept of reliability, how the principles of reliability can help you deal with the Glug in your own life, but also how the people and culture work aspects of focusing on your well-being can help reliability. Can you explain those two connections that you made?
Yeah, so with reliability, we're thinking about the future of our equipment. And if you do the maintenance now, then in the future, it won't be breaking down. And it's the same with people. If we do these steps now, then when we look to the future, we arrive at the future, it's going to be a lot better. You start by writing things down because you can offload the tasks from yourself. You can share the tasks. You can help other people grow by giving it to them. Once it's out of your head, it can be shared and improved and help with that opportunity for growth. And then you can also bring all that information together and look at it together and improve your process. And when you're improving your processes, that's making your equipment more reliable. And when your people are not getting overwhelmed because they can share the work, they can focus on the things that are important. And they also have time to focus on the thing that they're passionate about. Everyone has a passion at work. They care about a certain aspect of the job, but we run out of time to do this in the day because we get so caught up in the day-to-day. And if you can free up your time to work on your passion, it's going to make people happier. Same, not just you, but your whole team. Know what your team loves. Make sure that they get time to do that. Take something off of their plate so that they can. And then that joy will make them better workers and improve reliability overall.
So let me ask you a real basic question. When you were looking at the people and cultural work and you gravitated to those two elements that you referenced, did you immediately connect with it, or did it take you a minute to recognize the parallel between that domain, the people and culture and work domain, and what you do in your daily life?
When I looked at it, I looked at all of them, and the reason those two stood out to me was partly because there's so many books and so much information about all the other ones. These are the ones that are a little bit more intricate, and I feel like they're the most powerful to make the change in your organization. You just focus on just these two things, and it's going to have a huge impact towards your people's ability to conduct the reliability. And that documentation, I have learned so much by writing things down, and I always want to share that experience with other people. If you are writing it down, you are learning as you are getting it out of your head. And it's a challenge to get people to do that. Once you get them to do that, they learn from it. You write it down, you start to master it, and then you can move forward in a new way and share the information in new ways and tackle problems in new ways. One of the things that frustrates me is when I go to do something and there's no information about it and I have to figure it out, and it takes so much more time. But if someone had just written down like open this file and there's the thing that you're looking for, it would have saved me hours instead of searching around trying to figure it out myself. We could build each other up by enabling each other. One thing that I always tell people to do is just make a SharePoint and write down what you do in there. Most people don't know what they do outside of their head. If you say, give me a list of what you do, they don't have that. They haven't ever written it down. And once you get it out of your head, written down, people can say, oh, that's not even your job. I'm not going to give you these tasks. This must be someone else's job. Or let me take that off your plate for you so you can work on this more important project.
So tips and tricks, right? Write it down. What does that mean? Literally you're writing things down, but what is there a form or fashion? Is there something that's going to help you? Any tips or tricks that you can give the audience listening? Like, where do you start?
You just start with one thing. That's what it is. It could be the easiest thing that you do. Just write it down with the mentality that you're going to give it to somebody else. And you have to write it at their level. I recommend if you have a SharePoint or a wiki that you can add to, it doesn't have to be official. And I think that's the thing that holds a lot of people back is, oh, well, if I write it down, it's not official. But you're the only one who is going to write it down for years. So you're going to be like the expert once you write this one thing down. You can also just do a screen recording, do a meeting with yourself and record what you do every single day. And then you could talk through it and you've got a transcript. These are things that make it easier. Anywhere you can put the information, create a Word document, whatever, it's just taking that step and changing your mentality of thinking, how can I make it so I don't have to do this anymore? How can I make it so I can let other people do it?
Talk about a playbook for the next guy, right?
Yeah.
I think it's really about having the initiative to do it in the first place, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and even the visibility that you need to do this.
That's the other point of the presentation. It was to take time. If you don't take time, it's not going to happen. And it doesn't have to be a lot of time. Just write one little thing down. Write the first step that you take every time you go to do this one task. And you're going to be a lot closer than you were before. Get started.
Yeah, you talked about it a little bit before, but like it's almost like you just by writing things down and passing them along, you're able to elevate the team behind you, right? So, you're preparing for your own succession, right? When you get that next opportunity, one of the biggest struggles is what you leave behind, and is the next guy prepared? You write all that stuff down, like there's a playbook all day, every day. Here you go.
Yeah, and you're leaving a legacy. It feels good. When I left my last account, I felt really good. I was really happy, and it made me like teary-eyed leaving. I'm like, I'd left all this amazing stuff for the next guy. It's going to be so easy for him. It made me really happy that person was going to be even more successful than I was.
And this is the main reason why you can come to a Reliability Web conference, right? We're not just going to talk about one topic over and over again. Bryce, your presentation today was a breath of fresh air to remind everybody that people are here too. They drive these processes. They're the ones using the technology. So I'd like to thank you for doing that presentation. I think everybody in that audience, they laughed, they chuckled, and they took something away. So thank you. And with that, I think we're going to wind this episode of Reliability Radio to a close. So thank you all out there, and we will catch you next time.